How do you find ways to stay generally happy, satisfied with your life? Mindset, mantra, daily habits or routines, etc.
I really enjoy my coffee every morning. I dedicate a full 25 plus minutes to my coffee each morning, sometimes more, especially on the weekends. I drink it slowly and enjoy it, and buy grounds and creamers that I love. I make sure I love the mug I drink it from. Then after my morning coffee, I switch to green tea for the afternoon, and I am similarly ritualistic about it. I have a beautiful teapot, a thermos I adore, and I spend time and money getting the best tea bags. My happiness is derived a lot from my warm beverages, and I'm okay with that. I'm better at making my own coffee and tea than any restaurant or coffee shop. As long as I have my drink, I'm pretty much up for anything. Other than coffee and tea, I value feeling comfortable and cute in my outfits. I spend a lot of time enjoying, thinking about fashion and organizing my wardrobe accordingly. I love capsule wardrobe subreddits, and I really enjoy Pinterest for it too. Clothes is a hobby I get lost for hours in. I also take walks in parks nearly every day. There are 2 parks in particular in my neighborhood I spend a lot of happy hours at. Can you imagine me with my green tea, in a comfy cute outfit, just strolling through the park? That's totally my vibe. I've really found what I like doing with my hours. And this is all while holding a fairly boring office job. My job isn't fun, but I make it enjoyable. Hot drinks, cute office clothes, time at the park after work on my drive home. I just try to stay positive, and wait for my next cup of tea to brew.
Some things, mantras, words that truly changed my thinking, general being and state of happiness in a major way. Consistency is a love language. No is a complete thought and sentence. If is out of my control, I will not let it control my feelings and emotions. It is okay to cut people out of your life if they cause you inner turmoil and with your sense of peace. It does not matter if they are your blood, best friend, etc. If I'm having a horrible day, if I feel like the world is against, sometimes the best thing to do is go to sleep and just factory reset. I am complete by myself. If I choose to love or be with someone, it's because they are worthy, and I want to be with them. I don't need someone else to be whole. Be kind to your inner child. I make myself happy by thriving in my career, taking the time for self-care, working on my art in my spare time, dance class, cooking and having dance parties, hanging out with my cats, trying new things for myself, being intentional in my actions and reactions with the people in my life. I don't have it completely figured out. I don't think anyone does. I spent a lot of my life being controlled and wildly unhappy. Taking back control of my life and being decisive about what I can has had the best outcome.
I'm just here to get some.
Keeping my apartment clean. I get anxious and depressed when my place is a mess.
Not worrying about what other people think of how I look and people how I want to be. Trying new hobbies fairly regularly.
Gardening. There's something amazing about watching something grow and knowing you're part of why it's thriving. Always makes me feel satisfied seeing how good my plants are doing.
Cleanliness makes me happy. I try to keep things tidy, clean. I get backed up sometimes, but then cleaning it up brings that setting dates that make me happy. Like going shopping in 2 weeks, that's something I'll look forward to. Going to a concert is something to look forward to. Getting coffee with a friend. Little dates that break up the monotony of working and doing nothing. My dogs bring my constant joy. Seeing them play, getting them toys, treats, laying with them at night. Small joys throughout the day, just looking at my kids, seeing them make accomplishments by themselves, whenever they make a great joke I didn't expect, or when they make an observation I didn't think they'd exercise makes me feel better. Don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those people that love it. I loathe it, but after I do it, I always feel better. That I on that note, taking care of my body. Getting sleep, better food, water. But also, eating good that isn't good for me sometimes too. It's all about balance.
Living by, no is a complete myself first and allowing myself to be selfish. Every single choice I make also doesn't have to be the wisest and most productive in the situation. As long as it's not causing harm or has a direct negative impact on my life, I allow myself to make the irresponsible but fun choice here and there for the sake of my own happiness. I'm not a multinational corporation where profit is all that matters. I need to allow myself freedom and pleasure. Also, just gonna be honest and say that seeing people having it worse than me, or living normatively idyllic lives that I absolutely wouldn't want, keeps me very grounded and content with what I have. I don't mean that I'm sitting there rubbing my hands together, cackling like an evil witch while digging through the tragedies and traumas of other people, but I take a second to acknowledge that objectively, I have it okay, and I could have made much worse choices or ran into much more misfortune.
Gratitude, centering love always, saying no to I don't want to do. Knowing my worth.
I always say, it'll be okay, for anything that stresses me out. It'll work out alright. I'm a really strong believer in karma, so if I feel unbalanced I try to do something nice for someone else and expect nothing in return and hope that the universe gives me a break someday.
Give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm a much happier person when I give people grace, and accept that they're going to make mistakes. Lord knows I do.
I'm almost never in social media.
1. Don't care what other people think, say, live your life for you. Stop giving so much a. This book helped me time. I highly recommend reading it. Do whatever it takes to make you happy. For me it was leaving my old country. I wasn't happy there in the slightest. My friends and family all gave me so much for leaving, but it increased my happiness by 200%. Some friends forgave me and eventually my family did, but I did what was right for me, not anyone else. It's not selfish to work towards your own happiness. 3. Staying healthy. When I was younger I was overweight. I got winded going up and down stairs. I had problems keeping up with friends when we walked to places. I busted my and got in shape, and now I couldn't be happier. It's amazing how much happier you feel when you have a healthy body. Healthy body equals healthy mind. 4. I enjoy my freedom. I don't let anyone hold me down in life, not friends, not family, not even the people I date. I do what I want when I want, don't like it. Tough. I don't care. TLDR. I don't care what other people think, say. I do whatever I want as long as it makes me happy. I stay in good shape, and I don't let anyone tell me no.
Oh wow, what a good question. I don't, at least not all the time. I instead accept that I will be forced to go through bad times, unfair times, painful times, poor health times, and things like that. And that those times go away and good times come and then it's back on. Also helps me to accept the Buddhist concept of samsara, that this world is one of suffering, incompleteness, oppression, etc., and that I can't just figure it out and be happy or satisfied, and that unsatisfaction is built into the system and into my life and everyone's life. Even when things are going good I am at least aging, for example. It's always there and it's delusional for me to think it can be beaten. The types of people who have this sort of happy person outlook seem delusion and unhealthy to me, and often have unhealthy coping mechanisms to make that work. In retrospect, a lot of the happy-seeming people in my life were just neurotics, fawning for approval. In the stage of my life when I projected happiness a lot, I also remember being like this, and it took a lot of therapy and self-work to stop this sort of fake happy attitude. When I see it in others, I feel bad for them because I know inside they are probably scared, and also helps me to understand everyone is undergoing this suffering, so things like rejection, dishonesty, or dealing with bullies is a bit easier to understand. It also absolves me of ideas that I must be socially accepted by all sorts of people to be happy and successful. Instead, I focus on finding my own tribe and my people and don't really care about the opinions of outsiders or want to gain there. Also helps to understand class issues, workers' rights issues, social justice issues, etc. to see the big picture. Of course, this world isn't a happiness machine that makes happy people. It's more than likely to make miserable people, because dealing with these oppressive and victimizing systems traumatizes people and beats them down. I also don't feel bad about losing at the rat race or whatever, because I know our economic system is far from any sort of meritocracy. In fact, it's nearly wholly for women is just unusually unfair. We have to be conventionally attractive, fit and sexy, modest and sweet, wives and mothers, Madonnas and career-minded but not too successful, kind but not weak, fashionable but not showy, etc. Having a strong feminist outlook to counter this helps me a lot too. Being child-free, etc. is valid too. Not wanting a family or being in relationship is valid too. Never finding your soulmate is valid. This knowledge, I just feel more able to appreciate life and good things, and that makes me happier. It makes me value the good times and understand that bad times and bad people will always be here, and that when they come I just will have to deal with it. It also gives me realistic expectations about also think hobbies and learning and being helpful or giving are important and help build contentment. I think filtering your world is helpful, especially in today's information age. If you watch Fox News a couple hours a day you're going to become an angry and hateful person. If your peer group is full of bigots and racists, then you'll become like that over time. If you're constantly doom scrolling, then you will be anxious, and also find a meditation practice and a loving kindness practice is helpful. I don't want to be all armchair philosopher, but I just grew up with all this messaging about how great the USA was, how life is a meritocracy, how if you aren't successful it's your own fault, how you should be happy by default, how you should find your soulmate and be married and have kids, what it means to be a good woman, how mental illness is to be hidden, how queerness is something to be ashamed of, how you have to be conventionally attractive, etc. Encountering those toxic narratives really helped me to have a more steady-minded sense of contentment. Seeing the awful system this dynamic creates and how it perpetuates those views helps me deal with life better. Knowing I have to work around this samsara constantly is helpful. I just don't feel like this naive wide-eyed girl anymore who was always wondering why nothing worked for her or why everyone was doing better. Things do work for me and others aren't necessarily doing better, and other times things don't work for me and others are doing better. It's a non-stop cycle of suffering, achieving, failing, over and over. This helps me with developing contentment and understanding, which is what eventually makes me feel happiness.